I had a very energetic practice planned for today, but I have completely thrown it out the window, mostly because I'm just feeling a little slower today. And so I'm going to honor that and just kind of go with it. That said, we're going to focus on just kind of doing some gentle, deep stretching to begin. And then we're going to go back to some work on our lymphatic system. So, one of the reasons why yoga has kind of continued to be viewed as a positive thing to do, I mean, there's the kind of spiritual component and the intellectual component of it. That's very, very positive and obviously tying into breath and meditation. But the physical postures of yoga are also really beneficial. And one of the reasons why is because we're kind of going up and down and up and down. And our lymphatic system, which is the filter for our bodies, it's one of those things that pretty much everything in our body is really well designed. But our lymphatic system lacks a pump, which means we get to be our own pumps. So when you think about what we're doing today through our practice, kind of moving up and down, and then when we actually go through some targeted lymphatic drainage work today, just keep that in the back of your mind. How can you be the pump? So let's start by sitting nice and tall. Pull the core in and back. I'm sitting up on a block because that's way more comfortable for me. Just a little bit of elevation in the hips. And I need to remind myself to bring my shoulders up, back, and down. I'm going to have my palms up. I'm ready to receive, hopefully, hopefully some silent auction items that I bid on. And I'm going to close my eyes. You can smile a little bit. That helps me feel great about the day. Make sure the neck is nice and long. And then start to transition kind of into yourself. So checking in with your surroundings, but then kind of going deeper within as you start to deepen and settle your breath. And normally we don't think about the breath, it just happens, but think about it now. Make it intentional, make it deeper, make it slower. As you continue to sit and breathe, think about if there's anything that's kind of pulling you out of your practice. As I said earlier, I bid on a bunch of silent auction items yesterday. I need, I need to trust the universe that some of that is going to work out. So I need to park that because it's been pulling me away. Sometimes we have things that are less fun that are pulling us away. So just feel your physical self on the mat and allow yourself the grace to be present for today's practice. Take a few more breaths. And then slowly open your eyes. Let's reach the arms up into the air and just stretching up here. Sometimes it's nice to extend one arm further than the other. Just kind of reaching back and forth. And then just give the shoulders a roll so that your shoulder blades kind of slide down your back. Good. From your seated position, see if it's possible to just creep your hands forward a little ways and just find yourself lowering. You don't have to go very far, but as you do this, push back into the hips, create a little bit of space. And then walking your way back up. Great. From here, let's pop onto the back. So I'll get rid of my block. We're going to come down onto the back. Keep your knees up. Of course, I put a hair clip. I put on a hair clip this morning. And of course, it's right on the back of my head. And I just had a moment where I was like, oh, I didn't plan this very well. Anyway, that's been resolved. Oh, all the things. Okay, so we're going to start this morning with the feet resting on the mat. Knees are bent, and my feet are about hip width apart. I want you to continue with that nice deep breathing that we were doing a few moments ago and think about the positioning of that kind of lumbar part of the spine. So sometimes we refer to that as the small of the back, but it should be really kind of nicely flat on your mat at this point. It shouldn't be a big rounded area. Think about your shoulders. You want to open the chest and really push the shoulders into the mat. And then you can let your arms rest to the sides. And while you're in this position, think about as you breathe in, the tummy's kind of relaxed. And then as you breathe out, engage through your core. So you're kind of crunching back, pushing up that diaphragm. So inhale, create that space, and then exhale, really engaging. Let's do that a few times. So inhale, exhale, inhale, and breathing out. Once more, deep breath in and out. Good. From here, I'm going to bring my heels a tiny bit closer to my bum, and we're going to start to do a bridge lift. So think about that breath. So when we inhale, the core is kind of just expanding. And then as you exhale, we're going to engage all of the muscles in that area. And that's when we're going to lift, because we're going to do this bridge on the breath. So start by taking a slow, deep breath in. And exhale. Let the hips kind of peel up and you're tight through the core. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Breathing in as you slowly lower. Make sure that back flattens. And then exhale, lift. Inhale down. And exhale, lift. Sink back down. Slowly start to move the legs all the way down to the left-hand side. Your arms can stay at your sides or they can come out. Find whatever is comfortable. This is a little bit of a lazy twist. Just try and hold here and breathe. Sometimes my back pops when I'm doing this. It feels really good. If this, for some reason, does not feel good for you, then definitely come back to knees resting on tummy. So to move back to center, engage through your core, bring the knees up to center, feet are on the floor again. And then we're going to move to the opposite side. Do a quick check-in with yourself and get a sense of the difference between left and right. Let's engage through the core, come back to center, and think about for a moment which side was tighter for you, and then slowly move back into that tighter side. And nice deep breaths. Let's come back to center. Pull the knees up and into the tummy, maybe rocking a little bit side to side. Maybe doing a little bit of an egg beater with the feet, holding on to the knees. Just kind of bringing some blood flow to that low back, adding a little bit of a massage. And then make a tabletop. So think about this as a 90-degree angle. Even holding and I've got my feet pressed together. In this posture, think about engaging through your core. Your arms can be at your sides if the shoulders stay back. Otherwise, you could tuck your hands behind your head if that's comfortable. And we're slowly going to take a breath in. As you exhale, remember to engage through the core, tap the toes down. Inhale up. Back to your tabletop, 90 degrees. Exhale down, tight core. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Let's do one more. Inhale down. And back up. Extend your legs all the way up. Flex your feet. You can bring your feet and your legs apart. And let's circle with the ankles. I miss doing this in a room full of people because you hear this symphony of ankle cracks and snaps. Switch directions. And that's not a bad thing. That's just normal. Spread your toes really wide apart. Heels are pressing up towards the ceiling. And then pull the knees into the tummy. Nice hug. And add a little bit of movement. Okay. Let's put some of that together. I'm going to bring my feet back down onto the floor. Knees are now hip width apart. Shoulders are back. Arms are going to be wherever you're comfortable. We're going to do a bridge lift up and down. And then we're going to move to tabletop, tap, and up. Feet come down, bridge, and down. Legs up, tap, up, and down. We'll go slowly and we'll go together. And I promise you, I will screw up the breath, cueing you on the breath. because it's hard for me to cue on the breath and talk and do. So we'll do our best going through this. So we'll start very slowly and very intentionally. So take a breath in. Exhale, lift up into a bridge. Let's inhale, sink down. Exhale, legs up to tabletop. Inhale. Exhale, tap down. Inhale up. Exhale, feet down. Breathing in. Exhale, bridge, lift up. Inhale, bum comes down. Exhale, tabletop with the legs. Breathe in, tap down. Exhale, tabletop. Inhale, feet down. Exhale, bridge lift. Maybe go higher this time. Inhale down. Exhale, tabletop. Inhale, tap your toes. Exhale, tabletop. Go one more round. Inhale, feet come down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, sink down. Exhale, tabletop. Inhale, tap down. Exhale, back up. This time, extend the legs all the way up into the air. Flex the feet. If it's possible, stretch the arms up over top of your head. And then pull the knees into your tummy and hug them in nice and tight. Good. From here, we need to roll up and we're going to move onto the other form of tabletop that we do on our hands and knees. Knees are under your hips, hands are under your shoulders. The tops of my feet are pressing into the floor. And then I'm going to bring my toe knuckles together so I can gently push down, stretching the arms forward and moving into the child's pose. So once you're in your child's pose, really pay attention again to the breath, breathing deeply, and just notice as things start to release and relax. Now, if things are not starting to release and relax, you can help that along by wiggling, maybe bring the knees further apart so you can kind of wiggle the belly in between the legs. You can kind of encourage yourself to roll down and back with the shoulders. Or you could use a block under your head to rest. And then slowly move back up onto the hands and knees. So knees under the hips, hands are under the shoulders, maybe a little bit of softness in the elbows, just don't lock through the joints. And think about pulling that tummy up and back, so really locking in through your core. And let's go through a little bit of cat-cow, which is so nice for the spine. So inhale, head and tail, lift. Breathing in here. And then exhale, rounding the back. tucking the chin, tucking the tail. Inhale up. Exhale, round the back. Inhale up. Exhale, rounding. Let's keep going. Inhale. Exhale. Breathing up. Exhale out. Breathing in. And exhale out. Nice. So return to your tabletop. And then, if it's possible, I'm going to invite you to bring one foot to the side of the hand. So I'm going to start with my right foot. So I'm going to step that foot right beside the outer edge of my hand. Now, if you're not getting this far or it's really horribly uncomfortable, you can skip this. You can go back to a child's pose or a little bit more cat-cow. And if your back knee is sensitive to the pressure, you can fold your mat over, maybe grab a cushion. So from here, I'm going to take a few breaths. We're really trying to get into the hip flexors here. So I'm sinking through my elbows a little bit, just whatever's comfortable. And I'm going to deepen my breath. And I'm slowly starting to apply some pressure between the outside of my elbow and the inside of that front bent leg. I'm going to start to weight bear on the opposite hand now, and the hand and foot combo that are side by each. I'm going to release that hand and I'm going to reach up, adding a twist. Hold and breathe. It's a nice way to get the chest opening, really stretching through the pectorals. And then bring the hand back down. Move that foot and leg back. And let's pop the foot forward on the other side. So just as we did with the twist earlier, think about, is one side different than the other? Is one side really tight? Which is always my reality. This is my tighter side today. So I acknowledge that. I deepen the breath. The breath is going to help us get into this a little bit more. And if it's comfortable, starting to apply a little bit of pressure from the outside of that elbow into the inside of that leg. And that pressing out allows me to kind of open up into the hip flexor a little bit further. It's subtle, but you'll feel it. Check you have a nice deep breath. If you do, weight bear on the opposite hand and then lift that hand and arm up into the air, twisting, breathing. Deep breaths. And then bring the hand down. Bring your knee back. Let's flip the toes. And we're going to move up and back into downward facing dog. So I'm pushing up and back. Finding my feet on the mat. They're going to be hip width apart. My knees are pretty bent to begin with here. My hamstrings are not quite open. And I don't want to sacrifice that nice spinal stretch. So that's why my knees are bending and I'm staying up on the toes. Couple more breaths. And then walk your hands back to your feet, rolling up bit by bit by bit. And a big roll of the shoulders. Nice work. Delicious, delicious tea this morning. Okay, so bring yourself into the mountain pose. So feet are under the hips. My shoulders don't feel like they're in the right spot. I felt like one was kind of sticking up. Anyway, shoulders are down. Hips are tucked under, really nice and tall through the core. Spread your toes apart, lift up through your arches. And notice where your breath is now. Is it kind of shallow? Do you need to catch your breath? Sometimes as we start to stretch and get into some of the deep core muscles, the breath becomes easier as we relax into the practice. You'll notice I said sometimes. Good. Let's open the eyes, sweep the arms up, connecting the hands over top of the head. Stretch up as much as you can. And once you kind of extend it as far as you can, lean to one side. Nice side body stretch here. All the way back to center, extend, and then lean into the other side. All the way up. And releasing down, good. And just kind of shake it out. Nice. Okay, so a number of weeks ago, we did a little bit of work for the lymphatic system. It was kind of a full body thing. So we're going to go through that again. We're going to take our time. This is not pretty stuff that we're doing. So just do your best, especially the hula hoop action. So not, well, at least I don't feel very pretty when I do that, but it's so good for us. So what I want you to think about is throughout the body, we have this lymph fluid that moves around. But then we have these big areas of kind of lymph. We think about lymph nodes, lymph tissue, and we have some pretty big areas that we want to be moving around today. So we have lots in our neck, kind of behind the neck, through the clavicle area, armpits, in through our tummy, the groin, and then we get down to around the knees as well. So from here, we want to be moving stuff down. And from here, we want to be moving stuff up. And as we push this fluid around, stuff is filtered out. So it helps us if we're feeling kind of puffy or swollen. But this also is a great practice to be doing, especially at this time of year, cold and flu season. It's just kind of that little immuno boost that I have the pleasure of working with the public most days. So I'm going to grab onto any boost I can get. So let's start just with a comfortable stance here. Hands to shoulders. So thinking about, let's do some big work for around the armpits and the shoulder blades. So let's make some big circles. And just breathing comfortably. Keep in mind, none of this should hurt. If it does, skip it or do a smaller version or a slower version. Make it work for you. Let's switch directions. Good. Relax your arms and let's do a little bit of a twist. So I'm keeping my pelvis stable and kind of twisting from the waist up. Just letting the arms flop around. Good. And just watch if you're getting dizzy. Let's bring our fingertips back to the shoulders. Arms are up a little bit. And again, from the waist up, twist to one side. You're going to look in that direction. And then over to the other side. So just at your own pace, go side to side. Make sure your eyes are traveling. Make sure you're breathing. Don't get grossed out by the sounds coming from your neck. Do a few more of these. Good. Relax down. Now, just with your head, looking to the left and to the right. Keep the shoulders rolled back and down. So we have a lot of lymph material in our necks. And this actually helps drain some of the fluid around your brain, which sounds really gross. Good. So come back to center. Now you're going to take a thumb right in front. And what you want to do is this kind of 45-degree cross action with this. So stare at that thumb, and then you want to look up, almost like you're looking over your shoulder, but you still have to be able to see that thumb. And then you're going to bring your head down kind of towards the opposite armpit. Again, keeping the eyes on that thumb. So we're kind of going up and down on this 45-degree angle. Do your best. This is kind of a weird range of motion, but again, it's great for balance. But it's also great for lymphatic system draining. So this is tapping into your vestibular system. Do a couple more. And then switch to the other side. So again, start with that opposite shoulder and then kind of coming down towards the armpit. So moving up and down. So as you're doing this, think about what's happening in the core. Maybe we can engage through the core while we're doing this too. Couple more here. And releasing down. Give the arms a little bit of a shake. Good. Bring your feet open a little bit more than hip width apart. And this is where we're going to start, almost like you've got this imaginary hula hoop. And just not too fast, but not too slow, getting a really nice big range of motion here. So this is a surprisingly great way to engage core and kind of muscles through our obliques, so kind of side body. And we're also kind of controlling through glutes and through the quads and through our feet. So a lot has to go into this, and it taps into the big kind of areas of lymph in our gut. Let's switch directions. So you can get an even bigger range of motion. I hope everybody's doing the whole like, wow, I'm so glad I got out of bed for this. The universe is responding to me. I started doing this and it just started raining, which I'm happy for. Having been in a drought all summer, any bit of rain is good. All right, let's bring our feet together. And now I want you to think about how hard this is to do with our feet together. I feel like one of those inflatable noodle guys at a used car lot, you know, with the flappy arms. And your arms could be anywhere for this. I just feel more stable with them on my waist. Okay, let's switch directions. I hope people are feeling a little playful and a little bit like laughing at this point. If not, we're all in trouble. Okay, couple more. Now, a really big stance here. So big, big, big. This is harder. I think this is the part that I mean is really not very attractive. So think about the muscles that you're using to do this. I really feel this into the gluteus medius. Your feet really have to grip. Good. Let's switch directions. And as ridiculous as this seems, I assure you, it's pretty great. Couple more. Good. From here, we're going to do a big sweeping step. So you want to step all the way over, land gently. So this is starting to get into the groin. So big sweep. Go at your own pace, but really see how much effort this takes. This is how I imagine I should be walking through life. So see if we can do 4 of these. So I'm going to do 3 and 2 and 1. Amazing. Put the feet together again. Bend your knees. And now we do this twist here with the bent knees. This is where I start to feel like the fatigue from it, especially after those big steps to the side. So if you're feeling that too, you're right on track. Let's switch directions. So again, this is the last kind of limp area behind the knees. Okay, straightening up. Now we want to pump up. We pushed down, we moved it around, and now we want to pump up. So balance on one leg, lift the other leg, and you're going to make circles. This is pretty hard to do. If you need to hold on to something, go for it. Keep the core tight. Shoulders are back. Keep breathing. It's tough muscle work. Switch directions. Okay, good. To release a step back with that foot that was in the air. And now reach your arms forward. So we're kind of in 2 straight leg pyramid here, and then we pull forward. So think about almost skiing maybe. So you're just kind of moving forward. This is pumping stuff up and a nice stretch through the groin again. Okay, but it was behind, or the leg that was behind. Now we're weight bearing on that. Shoulders back. Lift the other leg, circling. Thank you, wall. And switch directions. Think about engaging through that core. Couple more, couple more here. I cannot do this side at all. I'm like kicking. And then I'm gonna bring that foot behind, arms forward, and just kind of sweeping forward, pushing forward through the hips. And a few more of these. And then bring your feet together. Now we're gonna just kind of pump through the heels. Piano. Piano just got up and walked through, made fun of me. What else is new? So we're pumping here through the heels, lifting and lowering. And that is actually pumping blood up. Your calf muscles act as a pump for the blood. So this is not only great for moving the lymph and getting stuff to drain and flush, but this is great for circulation. So keep going for a few more moments. Nice deep breath. Let your arms flop because that's fun. This is my like modified version of a 90s mosh pit. Good old days. And relaxing. If you have a beverage handy, grab a sip. Or a glug, as I just did. And just kind of stand in a very informal posture for a moment and just kind of sway. So deepen the breath and just check in with yourself. Notice how you're feeling after that, besides the fact that it's, you know, for the old ego, it's a little bit rando and feels kind of weird to be doing some of that range of motion. But I started doing this kind of sequence, I don't know, a couple of months ago. I would kind of pop it in and out on mornings that I'd crawl out of bed and be like, I don't want to do anything. So I'd take about 10 minutes and I found it felt really, really good. I felt a little bit more energized. Um, I also liked kind of, it was doing some core stuff for me. So anyway, that's why I'm sharing it because I think it's really, the stuff that I share tends to be the stuff that I do in my own life. So I introduce you to that again and hope that you enjoy it. So through what we just did, it was a nice opportunity to kind of set our balance and to kind of boost our energy. So from here, let's just take a moment to do some deep breath work. And we're going to do that in the tree pose. So let's start with just the second position of the tree. So first position is foot to ankle. The second position is wrapping kind of the arch of the foot around the calf muscle. We're beneath the knee. Don't push on the knee. That's really not a good, it doesn't end well. So we're going to stay beneath the knee for now. So start by kind of comfortably grounding into both your feet. Arches are lifted, toes are spread. Make sure your heels are grounded. I always tend to lean into my toe base. Chest is proud, shoulder blades are back. Neck is long. And find whatever side works for you. I'm going to lift a foot up and just find my position here. So let's start with a little bit of a lazy tree. So I'm kind of sinking into my hip, I'm kind of more center than side. And then I'm going to fine tune it. So I'm going to start to engage through the hip. To do that, I need to engage through the core. Shoulders are down. And I'm actually going to challenge this leg to move out on the side a little bit more. That requires a lot of muscle work, so I'm going to deepen my breath to support that. And then arms are up to you. I like out to the side. And again, my shoulder blades are down as I'm doing this. So usually around the time that I feel like, yeah, I've got this great position going, that's usually when I lose balance, and that's okay. If you're a little wobbly, reset. Hold for a couple more breaths. Then I'm going to gently step out, release the arms, and I'm going to sweep my foot over and up to move into this posture on the other side. Again, starting lazy or informal, tightening up, and then maybe a different arm position, whatever feels best for you. Couple more breaths. And then releasing down. Excellent work. Good. So one of the things that you might find with the tree is that as we start to kind of lose ourselves into the posture, we do start to sink. It does start to become a little bit more informal. So think about it as we go through again. What other muscles can you use? Maybe you use your glutes to keep that leg in position. Maybe it's just lifting through the chest that does it for you. Or maybe it's more pressure between the foot and the leg and the leg and the foot. So really kind of reflect on that as everything else is going on, as you're breathing. And that's the joy of the physical practice. We kind of combine all of these little tiny elements to create something really beautiful. So let's go back to our first side. Again, arm position is totally up to you. You can kind of have some fun playing around with that. We're going to take 3 more breaths. And now that bent leg is going to step forward. Straighten out through that back foot if you need to. Sink down into a lunge. Tuck the hips under. Sweep the arms up. Roll the shoulders in. And take a moment in warrior one. Nice deep breath. Bring the hands to the heart. We're going to step back. Step over. And let's do the other side. This is our last time for this posture today. So really, really tighten up, enjoy it, challenge yourself to push a little bit further. And then we're going to take that bent leg, step it forward as I fall over. And then sinking into that front knee, enjoying this lunge. Sweep the arms up, roll the shoulders in, warrior one. Hold and breathe. And then bring the hands to the heart. Let's step back. Amazing work. Good. Okay. Come on back down to the mat. Come on back to how we were when we started earlier. So bend the knees, feet are on the floor, shoulders back. Deepen your breath. Let's pull the left knee into the tummy. Keep the breath deep while you do this. Shoulders stay on the floor. And then I'm going to extend my right leg. So the right leg is on the floor. Left knee is still pulled back. And I'm going to invite you now to soften into this pose. And what I mean by that is, where do you need to be comfortable? Because we're going to hold this for a little bit of time. So for me, comfort means moving that left bent knee out to the side a little bit. Opening kind of the stretch, maybe pulling towards the armpit, or maybe it's just about for you moving around and kind of exploring the range of motion. When you find that sweet spot, which is usually a combination of tightness that you can release and tightness that wants to be released. Once you get there, just breathe. And now very slowly take the opposite hand, guide that bent knee across the midline of the body. You're just going to have a nice stretch through that left, kind of through the gluteus medius, so through that outer edge of the left, either the butt cheek or your hip. Bring the knee back to center, and then bring the foot down on the floor. All right, I'm going to bring my right knee in. Left leg stretches out. We're going to do that all again. So I'm going to wiggle into my mat a little bit more. This side's tight, so my shoulders are curling up. And then I want them to release and relax, keeping the chest open. As I deepen my breath here, I'm going to start to move that leg around, the bent leg around a little bit to see if I can find that sweet spot, that spot that really needs a little bit more attention. And then come back to center. Use your opposite hand to guide that bent knee across the midline. Again, find the spot that gives you kind of that feeling of release and satisfaction. Make sure that you are kind of partnering this stretch with really deep breath. And then moving back to center and release that foot back to the mat. Okay, so I'm going to invite you now to move into whatever posture works for you for your Shavasana. So that could be stretching out flat on your back. It could be keeping your knees on your tummy, or maybe just bending the knees and keeping your feet on the floor. When you find that best position for you, deepen the breath and allow yourself to just feel peace for a few moments. Deepen your head and move, or deepen your head, deepen your breath. Oh, I'm too relaxed now. Deepen your breath and move your head from side to side. And stretch the arms up over top of your head. If your legs are bent, straighten them out and enjoy a big stretch from fingers to toes. Allow yourself to feel taller and stronger. And keep that breath really luxurious and deep. When you're ready, pull your knees up to your tummy, give yourself a big hug, and then move up to a seated posture. And again, just kind of sit and breathe. I'm laughing because I'm being mocked. Oh, dear. Let's bring our bring our hands together in front of the heart. Oh, this is gonna be a day. So I thank everybody for sharing this time this morning and this week and to work through some things that may be unfamiliar. But reflect over the next few hours, notice how you feel, and try and figure out if this helped your day in some way. I hope it does. If it doesn't, we'll find better ways. I look forward to seeing everybody next week. I hope this week is amazing for folks. Namaste.